A state of emergency is declared in the US city of Baltimore as it descends into chaos following the funeral of a black man who died in police custody.
At least a dozen fires raging across the city. Updates from Baltimore in just a few minutes.
Elsewhere, RT investigates reports that young Israeli Arabs are traveling to Syria to join the ranks of Islamic State militants. And nationalist sentiment in Ukraine proves to be a stumbling block in Kiev's talks with its European partners. Hello, it's midday in Moscow. You're watching RT International. A state of emergency has been declared in the US city of Baltimore after protesters clashed with police. It follows the funeral of Freddie Gray, who died in police custody over a week ago. The National Guard say that as many as 5,000 troops have been deployed amid the unrest. They're also reinforced by armoured vehicles. Well, at least 15 officers have been injured when rioting youths started throwing rocks at police. Several buildings have also been set on fire. Police officers have been dispatched to protect firefighters who came under attack while trying to extinguish the fires. RT's Alexei Yaroshevsky is at the scene.
We have people here in Baltimore walking the streets and asking us a question: is this a war going on here? Now, what you're seeing right now here is just one of the fires now blazing, now raging across the city of Baltimore. We got here first, some 10 minutes before the fire crews arrived, and they obviously have a lot on their hands right now. The fire scanner reports of at least a dozen fires raging now across the city of Baltimore. The police presence is huge in the city right now. There are several lines with riot policemen and the National Guard. We have seen several trucks of the National Guard pull up there. They are securing the perimeters of pretty much the whole part of western Baltimore. These things went ugly after people came to attend the funeral of Freddie Gray, the African-American male who died in the police custody. There were reports of certain flyers circulated among the people who attended the funeral saying purge. After this, it's not clear whether those flyers caused it, but riots broke out just a few blocks from where I'm standing right now, and things went really ugly. There were rocks thrown at the police. The police responded with tear gas. For the moment, we know of at least 15 police officers who were injured. At least two of them were injured seriously. We also know of 27 arrests which had been made in relation to those riots.
Well, we've heard from various experts who say that the unrest in Baltimore is a result of frustration at calls for justice over police abuse going unheard.
There's no progress in terms of what the officials are involved in. It's just that they're constantly pushing back on people, asking them to be peaceful. But the fact of the matter is that they are further disadvantaging the community as well as victimizing that community because of the police tactics and things that are going on.
So when I look at the protests, what's going on in Baltimore right now, it's just that people are at that boiling point in America. When you see this rash of police violence, you know, people are just upset. This is what happens when people are so fed up and so tired with being targets.
Well, frustration over police brutality has also been witnessed in the city of Ferguson. It followed the killing of unarmed black teenager Michael Brown by an officer last year. Alexei Yaroshevsky once more says the scale of rage in Baltimore surpasses what happened in Ferguson.
I had been to Ferguson twice, and I can say what is happening right now in Baltimore looks to be worse than what was happening in Ferguson, primarily because What we saw in Ferguson was pretty much localized in one area. This was just a few blocks on South Florissant Avenue. Now, here in Baltimore, the unrest is spreading across the city. One common denominator between the two protests in Ferguson and here is that there was a part of peaceful protesters here and here and there. The people who went out into the streets to voice their message of discontent against police brutality. They had no intent of burning places down. They had no intent of looting. And then there were troublemakers, both here and in Ferguson. We'll have to wait and see until we get more information about what kind of people were arrested. Were they local? Were they from out of town? To see who actually incited those riots here in the city of Baltimore.
And we are keeping a close eye on the situation in Baltimore.